While we're talking about certain cases, let's see where we are with the John George case. March 21st, 2025. Where are we at? And should we carry on? Make that drink. Step in to Al Don's Reviews and True Crime. The latest we heard, so Billy George had been arrested. So he had visited Dawn Smith, that's Johnny Smith's mum. Johnny Smith is one of the suspects. We can say suspects because there is a warrant out for his arrest. Along with his accessory girlfriend, she's an accessory. She knows an awful lot. That's Maddie Madison, young Madison. So she knows an awful lot. Another person who was already arrested, and we know this already, and he's been let go twice, so he must have a great alibi, and that is Mikhail Malley, the Czech guy, the former French Foreign Legion. I said it from the off. He was with the services, and I found that out very early on. And John George, so he was said to be, do we know 100%? We're sort of 95, 99% sure. So he was stabbed in the leg, shot in the stomach area, chest area, stomach area, and in the face, and then dumped beside a road underneath a lemon tree. So Billy George has been rampaging, he's been on the rampage, and apparently John George's brother Dan, and they're both on minor affray and assault charges. So this was when they went to Dawn's workplace. They visited her at her house and also at the workplace, and assaulted colleagues of Dawn. Now, ordinarily, I would think there was something not quite right in this rampage, but then again, if your son has been murdered, you'd want to know why, even if there were misdemeanors within this case. So if we say that it wasn't justified, in their minds it might have been justified, do we know? So one thing, if you are brought in, Johnny, you can give your side of the story. Remember, it's not all cut and dry, so if there was provocation, if it was self-defence or you were provoked, this can be brought out. Put down in the comments what you think. If you also want this case brought over to my own second channel, that's Don's Courtroom, we can look into it a bit further and perhaps decide our own outcome on this. But I feel really, to put this over to Don's Courtroom, we'd need more information. We haven't got that much information as such. We've got quite a bit of information, but it's all kind of hearsay. So we can't arrest, or the Guardia or the police aren't interested in arresting Johnny Smith, because we hear possibly, allegedly, possibly, because of all the misdemeanors that are involved and the criminal activity around the case. But then again, police aren't always interested in missing people or people that are found dead, and it isn't always concluded what they died of. It's just seen as an accident. They don't want to investigate further. They don't want to put the time into it. There isn't any benefit for them. There's no target, there's no achievement of any target, so they don't bother, as well as resources and possible finance. So there's a bit of everything involved, really. I think something really needs a push to be investigated. And there are a lot of cases in the same boat, so to speak. I think this one seems to just float away, really, doesn't it? But surely Johnny can be found. Where is he? Is he in Dubai? Is he in Spain? Is he in France? Is he in Thailand? Who knows? Well, people do know. People do know. I think the best way is they did in the first place. They started out offering a reward. A lot of the time money does talk. So if there is a reward for good information, then that's probably the way forward. A private investigation. Now, but he's kind of conducting a private investigation. But the marks, he's overstepping the mark in some ways, but it's understandable. Yeah. So what do we think that should happen? Should we just think, criminal activity there going on? And we have this saying of live by the sword, die by the sword. Do you follow that? Do you follow that? And we should just leave it? Police should just leave it. Private investigators, leave it. Or should we go full on and have a look? Difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one. In my view, in an ideal world, even with the criminal activity, if we wanted to find out, if police wanted to find out what happened in the first place, they could be less half-hearted and gone straight on in forensics on those cars. All the cars involved, the phones, I keep saying phones and phone data, straight away they can still do the phone data, might still be able to find the cars. But they're probably crashed or away or totally burnt. But if they investigated properly in the first place, probably more truth could be found. They wouldn't have even found the body if it wasn't for Billy George pushing for that. Pushing people and offering rewards at that time of 30 grand and gaining information and saying, come on, give us the body and we'll leave you alone. He wouldn't have been found. Well, he might have been found later on, but who knows. But we'll watch this space maybe for the part 2 of the documentary that talked about part 2 of the documentary, or another documentary, because that delves in a little bit. The first one, it delved in a tiny bit, but it wasn't too thorough. There were lots of unanswered questions within that documentary even. So that could happen again, couldn't it? Spark up some more interest in the case. Certainly for Billy George and his brother and sister. But for us, what do we think? Put down in the comments what you think. Do you care as much as you would for a certain normal family person, shall I say? An innocent person being slayed by somebody for no reason. Surely that's a little bit of a delicate matter, more delicate than this one, and should have been jumped on. If that was the case, that should be jumped on, the criminal element, do we think? But there we are, so millions and millions of other cases out there to look at, hopefully in a more positive light, in a more positive way. I think what we want to do is we start at the beginning of a case, and when it unfolds, we want to unravel it, we want to ask questions, we want to have the questions answered, and then we want to find out what really happened. That's what we want within a true crime situation, a true crime video, true crime online that does solve cases and has done before in the past, sometimes not, but a lot of the time it does solve something, and it gets it noticed and it gets it investigated properly, and that's what we want more of. So that's what I'll be doing in the future, and hopefully you'll stick with me. Thank you for my current subscribers. Please subscribe, it does help the channel. Subscribe if you can, please, if you want to Don's Courtroom, my second channel. And also any other channels that will, if I do have time, and if you do have an interest in those, I can point you in the right direction when I get those up and running as well, if I ever find the time. So much to do. Not sure where young Rosie is today. She's here somewhere. probably up to no good. I hope you're keeping well and good and you're not up to anything that you shouldn't be. But when you do go to bed tonight, please remember, as always, don't have any nasty dreams.